board to Smartmates Business, and obviously the world of business is still moving on so well, and obviously you should be part of the ever-evolving world wherever it is. It is a Thursday, the 9th day of the month of March 2023, so clearly that shows you that we are moving on swiftly, more than you can ever experience. Of course, Zabu has already, as you've definitely seen, you can easily kickstart off your investment with the same platform. Make sure that at least in one way or the other you will be able to at least get the money that you need and kickstart off your investment journey as well. Probably as for us, as we continue to give you those particular updates of regarding business or rotating around business, you should as well know that there is something more for every other person. Welcome on board to the show. This is your daily Kickstarter, where we give you business updates as they do occur and happen in real time for you to at least cop up to speed with the ever-changing world of business. There's lots of discussions and there's lots of things that you definitely need to be part of. So that means for you as an individual, why not take it on? Make sure that you are available at any other chance or any other uptake that you can choose to execute. Well, yesterday was the Women's Day celebrations, and of course the celebrations do continue because there are quite a number of different settings that are going to be happening. That is from today, Friday, Saturday, all these centered around inspirational talks and information, where most of the women are going to be encouraged to speak highly about what is going to be happening, and to encourage them to understand the little details or the many aspects of running life, and at least coping up to speed with a little bit more of the kind of organizations that are into the space of doing lots of things for the business world. And for those of you who are watching Sprout 24 TV, this is a TV that is basically rotating around giving you business information as you're supposed to be receiving it, and obviously coping up to whatever comes in your way. But now with the business updates, we now speak of women in business, especially the women who are dealing in industries within the country. How do they operate the machinery, and are they being considered highly like any other professionals that operate in these particular industries? Of course, there is a lot to do with a need for more financing and machinery for development. And also the other emphasis is digital inclusion, or what you could say the use of digital platforms to enhance their participation in the market. So this is basically looking around the women who are making ends meet but working in various industries. And of course, mentioning of industries, they can be small scale industries or middle, or you could say middle class industries or medium kind of settings, but obviously this is all about women in business. Let's get this in our first update this morning.
At Uganda Small Scale Industries, we appreciate the Women International Day, and actually we appreciate the women in the work they have done. We have women in industry, and women in industry have improved day to day in activities what they're doing, and have come to the age of finding out exactly how they can solve much of the problems that we're doing. So at UZIA, the women desk has taken precedence in terms of spearheading how do we help the women to demystify this huge issue of manufacturing. So we took it step by step with the inclusivity of women, and we have started with a few things. When we carried out our research, there are 5 major products or problems that came out of that particular research, why women are kind of failing. Of course, the first one was finance, the second one was machinery, the third was markets, the fourth was being more realistic in terms of how they're going to expand their business, or being more bold, and then the fifth was more about bookkeeping and putting down things down on paper. So whenever they would go, they would actually be challenged. You want a loan? Do you have collateral? Those were the issues that were affecting them. But then with UZIA, we're saying that let a woman come to Uganda Small Scale Industries, any office that we have within the country, and they will be helped. And how? One, we demystified the issue of formalization. We brought it nearer. We talk to them in languages that they understand. And we are saying up to now today that these women can actually become the future leaders of tomorrow in terms of what they have done. We have role models. We have a lot of activities that are geared in terms of improving their formalization. So we have what we call formal registration for women with URSP. And here women are kind of they're helped and supported on how to formalize their businesses. And then they get registered, they get an email, they get a TIN number, then they get also to see a registration certificate, which has also strengthened their business. Then we talk about UNBS, how do you certify your product in terms of certification of the products. That has also demystified in terms of language. UNBS has also been kind in terms of letting down the fees that the women can now afford. So with finances, we realize that there's a lot that can be done in terms of Korato. So what UZIA did, put up what we call the UZIA Circle. So this is a friendly service that is given to members. They come in and they save within their small groups, and then they attach it to the circle itself. They attain money without a lot of bureaucracy. So here they can come and get, and then who is paying, and they become, each one is a Korato for the other. And that way it has helped to have cash in terms of operational, what they need on daily. And we are seeing businesses growing over time and actually accelerating to the point of export. In terms of market, UZIA has also come out to call the UZIA online shop. It is kind of there to help members to kind of put products out. All you have to do is to produce. Then UZIA takes on the most of the challenges. We come, we take the photos, we put it out there. We have trained them in terms of digitalization. How do you use your phone to become a tool to help you keep your books, to help you remind you even of appointments where you're supposed to take your product. It has also come into show that it has helped to advertise their products they are working on. So in that way, they have become self-empowered to kind of work with each one and see how is my business growing, how do I analyze which product is moving faster, which person do I need in which position. All these trainings have been happening at UZIA, and this is how we have helped the women to become better industrialists. Okay. Digitalization is one of the best thing that came out of COVID, the after effect of COVID. People began to realize they can work within the small areas where they are at home. But they needed something that can take the message out there, what they are producing. And then it started. We have Zoom trainings that have been helping members to understand. So even if you have not gone to school, you actually put in a Zoom and you're in a network, before you know it, you actually know where the market is. What kind of products do they need out there? Facebook, social network has helped a lot of these women. And then when you come to banking in terms of mobile money, this has eased. They don't have to go to the banks. I'm actually way in Masaka. I can connect to someone in Mbale. What do you need? I need this to be sold. And then it's put on a bus and it's taken. So it is, digitalization has kind of come to help women in terms of the way they can make their work. Even if they have a whole household work that they have, you can actually work outside that particular house, and then you carry out your business, and before you know it, it has become an empire.
All right, that is matters to do with digital inclusion. I wish to at least understand and also agree on a matter of fact, or one or two things here, is that when you look at the details coming in from pretty much, let's say, the women in business. Right now, the world is actually rotating and revolving around the digital space. So that means every activity being done, or every little, let's say, every business activation that is being done within the country rotates around which kind of people are we supposed to be helping, or which kind of people are we supposed to, give all this kind of assistance in one way or the other. And the main emphasis has always been rotating around digital inclusion. How do we get the business community to take part in the digital charge? How do we get those who we blame, to at least understand that, well, even with the limited kind of infrastructure in this world of the digital era. When you would actually ask infrastructure details about infrastructure, we'll go about these internet particular devices or service providers, and then you also look at these particular computer devices that support the activation. But of course, business has, as usual, has basically been rotating around many things, and one of those many things include how we generate ideas that are strongly going to be very beneficial to the entire world that we are living in. But also, besides that, you get to understand that first and foremost, the world that we are living in is one that needs a lot of things to be changed about. We are living in a world whereby the digital inclusion needs to be part of the entire journey. So women need to get these skills or need to know how to use the internet to market. They need to know how to use, for example, the opportunities availed by the current trends in the digital era. Of course, you get to realize all of us are more comfortable lately by using our phones, or more comfortable when it comes to at least sharing ideas on different social media platforms, because you realize with social media, even the people who are less vocal, they become more vocal than they are. That is in the personal life or physically. So at the end of it all, the entire idea or the emphasis as well goes back to how we put women into these positions. Just like the International Women's Day theme was rotating around a dig it all. This kind of situation whereby you have to do a dig it all kind of situation where you're pushing for an agenda, but to include women in technology and innovation for equity, or to at least create room for equality as well. But then, with all these discussions, how are women are the women ready to at least fit in? Also, these are some of the other questions that we need to ask ourselves. Are the women really willing to fit in into these spaces? Are they willing to utilize the opportunities that the internet is providing, or that technology is providing for them, to at least position themselves as ready investors and business people? Lots of questions there. But of course, in order to enhance market provisions and to enhance market productivity, as well as enhancing room for an expansion in the kind of market that we have, the question goes back to how ready these particular women in business are. For example, the kind of industries that some of the women belong to are the small scale kind of, or sort of. It is just of late that women are now in pretty much more advanced movements in the world of business. For example, setting up more businesses that are kind of influential, or the narratives are changing in one way or the other. But then the simplicity about the entire thing is that why can't we change how these things are done? Why can't we try to see that we influence the women in business to be part of the technology landscape, or let's say the technology trends in the country, and also encourage their kind of innovations from the small scale kind of business up to the upper scale kind of business. Well, with that particular update, we now switch our eyes off to the press review this morning. All right, now with the press review this morning, we've got the New Vision and the Daily Monitor. And what the Daily Monitor has this morning for the viewers, it is for you to at least know, is that there is a report regarding a man who has hired a medical doctor to kill a wife. And allegedly, they've paid a sum of 5 million to this nurse to kill this wife. There's a lot to do with relationships and marriages and misunderstandings. Well, I do wish it does not lead you to at least kill somebody anyway, regardless of how far or how this person has hurt you, or in any kind of situation. May we be more kind to one another, and may we be having solutions that may not lead to the end of somebody's life. Then on the other hand, President Museveni has said stop excuses and fight poverty. This is what the president has told Ugandans. Just recently, President Museveni was quoted saying that Ugandans are lazy, and so he's continuously pinching on them to wake up, or for us to wake up and fight poverty in a fight that will need us to be more hardworking and more dedicated. Oh, should I mention, even resilient in that same way. Then also from the regional perspective, I'm not a thief. The minister in the Iron Sheet scandal pleads with voters as the election does look as well, because 2026 does not look to be very far away. It's just 2.5 years in, and Ugandans will be hitting the ballot to look out for a new leader. And so in case you are a member of parliament or you're a minister currently, I don't know, you really need to put yourself into positions of your voters now. Do you think you can still stay in parliament in the next few years? And then also be behind the Iron Sheet scandal, who said what, as Museveni has grilled his fishermen cabinet. The court is fishermen here. President Museveni is reported to have put ministers accused of missing relief items and especially Iron Sheets on the spot, and demanded answers as corruption claims stain his cabinet. This is another big one, big concern. The corruption scandals in the country, one of those that most of the people are definitely trying to build up upon, to at least utilize and try, to come into a situation of at least, putting Ugandans into a perspective of understanding that, well, corruption tendencies have to come to an end. And how are we going to stop them is by pinpointing these people, let them explain as to why they do these things. And once we have no answers, then we deem them guilty. And furthermore, in other stories, why DMC taxis dominate public transport services. As you can definitely see that for any commuting to the city and neighboring places using public transport, taxis are usually an eyesore, yet they remain on the road. There are quite a number of old taxis in the country. Worn out would be an understatement, trust me. And on the other hand as well, there's another detail about President Museveni asking leaders to help in poverty fight. This is still with the Daily Monitor, as there is also a full list of medalists, of female medalists, that is awards that were given yesterday during the celebrations in Chiruhura. Then also, the women have been advised to use digital platforms to fight gender-based violence. How will that be used? More details coming in here with the Daily Monitor. Then, why Kampala City's taxis are falling apart. There is a report here. Daily Monitor still has it. And then a full detail controversy over the Iron Sheet saga in the country. This and more is something that you should be able to at least see and view for yourself as we continue to go deeper in understanding the business perspective in the Daily Monitor this morning. All right. Now, away from the Daily Monitor, we look at the New Vision. The Bank of Uganda's restructure. There is a top job, that there are top jobs that have been scrapped off. Which top jobs are those? Daily. Rather, New Vision has more details as the Finance Permanent Secretary Ramadan Gobi says move is in response to modern banking trends as to why they have scrapped off top jobs from the Bank of Uganda. President Museveni has rolled out 803 billion shillings as a women fund. How is this one going to be disbursed off? New Vision. The NSSF probe board has reacted to MP's report as the Women's Day medalists have been highlighted as well in the New Vision. Now, we look at the trade opportunities. The deals Uganda inked in the South Africa Trade Summit. Audrey Rabogo and puts it down for you in here as Uganda, by the look of things, Uganda remains a mystery at the center of the continent, and who would not want to get a product from this exotic place? This is according to a quote from the president of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, who advised South African supermarkets to stock up Ugandan products. Wow, that's a big one. He says that what we got at South Africa Uganda Business Summit, there's a big one here, a detail of the business vision as President Ramaphosa called upon South African supermarkets to stock up with what you could call Ugandan products in their shelves. So he believes the supermarkets should consider having Ugandan products into their shelves. This is more of at least creating room for marketing and all of that. Now, on the other hand, mobile money pay grows threefold as Ugandans embrace the cashless transactions at the end of it all. And in between the lines here, tax experts at the PricewaterhouseCoopers say transaction costs and related taxes at certain levels tilt the balance for many transactions in favor of paying with cash. So now the cashless economy or the cashless agenda may seem to be realistic and may seem to be the way to go in the next decade. And trust me, most of the world economies are pushing for that same issue. And the mobile pay, or what you could call mobile money pay, is now growing as Ugandans are embracing more cashless transactions. But of course, the other question still remains, are the charges favorable for most of them? Or there is a lot to be asked and desired. Now, besides that, in the other business segment, from the perspective of New Vision, food safety in tourism, hospitality and industry, big report that needs a look throughout, because in between the lines here, in the hospitality industry, the 3 Ps refer to the premises, product and people. Now these particular ones, product, premises and people who are involved in working with food, all of these need to be well maintained and hygienic. When, for example, the premises, where this food is kept or where this food is served, it has to be hygienic and well maintained and well kept. Then also going back to the people involved in making this food, in serving this food, same apply, same situation. And then the third goes to the kind of product. Which product? The product being used. Which kind of food are we using at the end of the day? So these are some of the things that we need to at least look through as we're getting into the food safety in the tourism industry, tourism and hospitality. Then lastly, from the New Vision, stuck on the tracks, Uganda Railways 6 more partnerships. This is another detail coming in this morning from the New Vision. So as we continue to look deeper, this is something we need to understand. But well, besides that, let's head on ground with Barigi Andrew this morning for the traffic update. He's at the access road, that is Ginger Road, to give us more updates.
That is the traffic atmosphere in right here. But of course, the overall observation, according to what we are seeing, it's quite a little bit of a mild congestion. And of course, that's depending on the different routes and depending to what destination you're heading to. Now, starting from my very far end, where I'm actually where the camera is facing, that is the access road. And of course, we are talking about the vehicles. I don't know what the people are still into the over. That is of the women. But it's known to be Ginger Road. And of course the Kampala Road connecting to Ginger Road. I get to realize it's also quite a free lane despite the fact that the vehicles to Kampala. And you're heading to areas like Nakawa and you're going to pass via the Ginger Road traffic lights. According to the observation, it's quite a little bit warm and calm. It's not really much congested, but a heavy fleet of vehicles. So if you're coming towards Kampala, connecting to the Ginger Road, you're heading to Nakawa, you're heading to Ntinda, you execute business, quite a fair way in there. It's a fair lane. Now, away from that, now let's take a look at the route that is connecting. And of course, heading straight to the Port Bell Road for the residents, for the people that are heading to that roundabout and continue to go to other areas and execute business. And now you can see for the people that are coming from Bugolobi, you're coming from Tinda, you're coming from Nakawa connecting to town, you might be delayed a little bit because you can see a very thick vehicles, and we are inclusive of those on Ginger Road and Port Bell Road. So that's a double congestion which is likely to delay you if you're coming from Bugolobi connecting to town, if you're coming from Luzira connecting to town, if you're coming, Ntinda, Nakawa connecting to town. That's a little bit hard as compared to those people that are coming from Kampala and are heading to those areas of Bugolobi, Ntinda and Nakawa. It's quite fair, but those people coming from those areas, it's quite a little bit, it's going to be a little bit tight for you. It's a very heavy fleet of vehicles, and at the same time, we also get to realize that the traffic officers are doing whatever it takes to put the jam in order to normally happen, as we are really observing in there. This morning on Barije, just right here at the Ginger Road traffic lights junction, and at this very time back to studio with Jerome.
All right, many thanks for that particular update, Barije Andrew. That is around Ginger Road. That is for the Ginger Road traffic lights, and as well as the details regarding access road and how the movement of vehicles, and of course that is the borders and how people are actually using the route for now. That seemed busy simply because yesterday was a public holiday. That means most people are now heading back to their offices. Well, what a day to kickstart off from that angle. Well, after the break, we return with Karibu East Africa and the latest from the SMB International News. Good morning.